one, Amber. So then if you look at, so that's if you're going to get a loan, right? If you want to get the mortgage or have someone build for you. If you want to build yourself, or you're in construction, or even if you're looking at buying your materials, statewide now, average is about $230 a square foot. So I just did the math on some of the numbers we've talked about before, because obviously you're not going to have 1 square foot and be $230, but we want that option to make the choices. So at 150 square feet, it's about $34,500. 600 square feet, about 138. 900 square feet, 207. This, though, doesn't include buying your land, your fees, putting in for your permits, putting in your septic, if you need a well. So there's all of these other costs that are on top of even that kind of home construction cost. So once again, if you start going into that 600, 900 square foot range with these others, we're pricing out everybody below that AMI, that area median income, and above. So, Leah, let's go ahead to the next one, Amber. Thanks. So this one was really interesting because this just came out this year in 2022. The San Luis Valley Transit Plan, they have calculated that we are spending in Saguache County 74% of income on housing and transportation. A lot of us know we are at the end of the road, and we do have to go to Alamosa, and we're going to Salida, we're going to the Front Range. So 74% of housing income on housing and transportation, that number is already 30% higher than what should be affordable. If 30% is our AMI, we're actually looking at about 44%, but you're adding the transportation piece in there, so it's a little addition, right? So they're saying, these are straight from them, that we're basically here in this county already spending 30% more than we should be on housing and rents. So who is impacted? And Suzanne brought this up in her video, but this room and the people who are emailing me, and I have to say, like, I have been very involved. I'm in unincorporated Saguache County. I've lived there for 10 years, been in the county for 14. But I was in the Baca for part of that, but I've been out in unincorporated for the last 10. So I've been with the fire departments and the EMS workers. I've been in the school with youth programs, with different nonprofits in the community, with different boards that work at the county level. So I feel like I really am out in the community and available. And I'll tell you what, these last few months being available for things like this, we need a new position in the county to like be a liaison, taking a look at all of these things. I'm not saying that has to be me, but it's really something that people are afraid to come and talk to government. They're afraid to come and talk to planning commissions. They're afraid to come in to their county commissioners. Because if they're in the process of getting, permits or looking at this and they're like, we're not sure, you wouldn't believe the number of stories and questions I'm getting, and I'm like, I can't answer that. Keep supporting us here. Let's keep educating ourselves together. But seniors, veterans, the owner builders, disabled, people who want to live in a different, lower impact, a smaller carbon footprint. And we have a lot of service industry workers here. We have a lot of just working class people here. And we have to take that's all of us here together. We're not the one, I'm not the one coming in with the second or third home and my second or third car just that I get to park here. And I know that is isolated in certain parts of our county, but we have to start coming together on that front, that we are that working class. We probably fit into one of these, or one of our family members does. So one of the other unique things that came up with this was the spiritual centers in Crestone. I've had 3 of them contact me very concerned because they still have plans to build small retreat centers. They have those for a reason, small and very small square footage for that contemplative lifestyle. You want it basic, you want it simple. And with their plans, they've reached out concerned of where can we do this in the future? How do we don't need 600 or 900 square foot buildings to do the work that we're doing. And they are unincorporated. So as our group sat, that we felt like, who do we need to be taking care of the most though, is our seniors. These are people, these are our parents, these are our relatives, our neighbors, our mentors. Oh, he wasn't gonna do that. So one of my mentors, Barbara Hepner, passed away, and we did her cremation this morning. And so she was really working on these issues for seniors, and how do they downsize their lives? How, when they're on fixed income or on retirement, or with our rising propane or rising gas costs, with utilities, how do they keep up? Their income's not going up. And so that was talked about. A few people really recognized her work on that. Some of the facts with seniors is that rural areas tend to have a higher number of 65 and older. And then across the state of Colorado too, 1 in 4 people is cost burdened. That's that 30% or more you're spending on your home or on rent. And we are likely, this is from the Colorado Health Institute, Colorado, and this is what you're talking about, Bill, they're saying our over 65 population is expected to double by 2050 in the state of Colorado. So how are we taking care of our seniors as they age? So one of the creative ways that keeps smaller square footage is Crestone Peak Community Housing, and this is one of the projects Barbara was working on. Living Wisdom Village for Seniors. They are building 20 small homes, and you can see the range is anywhere from 322 square feet to 644 for a 2-bedroom. They already have a wait list of 50 people, another 8 because of other reasons, and the demand just keeps going up. People keep talking to them. They can't even get on a wait list now for senior in this smaller housing. But this is a great example and model of where we can go. Or how do we change some, I don't know if it's zoning or the right language, how do we change some areas to look at developments like that within the unincorporated county? So other benefits we've discussed is really that smaller is you're lessening your environmental impact and your financial costs decrease. So smaller building, your energy, your heating and cooling, it's gonna be less than a 2,500, 3,000 square foot home. Your water consumption is most likely gonna go down. Your materials, you're using less materials used. We all know if anybody's in construction or building right now with the supply chains and the cost of lumber, and with that going up, using less, you're definitely gonna be saving money. And then even the demand on our infrastructure and services. We're dealing with water issues and drought here in this county. I think we all are really aware of those things that we're looking at. And so having well-done small living can really reduce our demand on these kinds of services as well. So the state, I know we've talked about this in other meetings, the state is at 150, and they say the recommendation is another 100 per additional person. We've also want to recognize, you've brought up good points before, it's like this isn't including like, what if it's a single parent, and what if it's 2 young, look, one example, what if it's 2 young kids, space needed, versus your 2 teens? You might want to share that space with your 2 young babies, but with your 2 teenagers, it might be a different story, right? Or do you have a partner? Do you have a roommate or roommate? People are shifting all over and couch surfing here, and that's why our homelessness numbers aren't what they would be. It's because of people are always opening up their homes to other people. They can't document and track those numbers because they technically have a place to stay, because we do such a good job as a community of taking care of our people who are transient and homeless and needing that next step to get to the next level. So it's really hard. Other times we have emergencies. We have a lot of people where their parents, they need to come and live with them. So how do we determine later? We really have to look at this as an individual right, that we have the choice to make how we live and what size is good and healthy for us. I'll put myself on the line again. I've been living in 150 square feet with a loft that has another 50 for 10 years. All that's done is free up my time to serve in the community. I'm not paying a mortgage, I'm not paying rent. It's my transition step so that I can build a home and stay in this county. And so there's so many different factors we haven't considered. So it's really, we're all really getting back to, you have to trust people when what they can accommodate within their own living situation with their families. Thanks. So basically we're just encouraging, right now you're at the 0 square footage, that you have been preserving our liberties, and it's access to housing that we can all afford. And we think that that's really the wave of the future. That's the trend. We're gonna be a county that, with these different types of initiatives, sorry, no, you're okay, with these different types of initiatives, but we have to address these issues together. So what are some of the real issues? You know, when we talk about blight, and we know the areas, and we know what we're trying to, if we want to say clean up, or we want, but let's say, how do we empower people? How do we educate them? How do you do the barn raising? How do you do the fence building? Hauling to the dump, combining our resources. We're at a time we have to combine our transportation, whether it's we're doing the recycling, we're doing this, we have to start getting creative, because I don't think we've hit the tail end of this economic crisis and housing crisis that's just really been tipped off in these last couple of years. So some of the things that we were looking at where it's like, well, you've got absentee owners, they allow disrepair, they're not here. Well, how do we do that? It's like, there's other people who just don't have the support. They may want to do it, but they don't have the trailer, or they don't have the truck to haul something. People, sometimes with age, they become unable or disabled to be able to do things, and so their situation changes radically. Or illness. Even if you know if you're knocked out for and some of us were knocked out